What's up? So, I've been working on this painting, and I thought, while I paint, why don't I talk about what it's all about, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking while I paint. In recent years, rather like maybe like the last 5, sorry I sound like a pterodactyl, I'm a little sicky right now. So maybe the past 5 years or so, I have found myself getting referred to as Blondie, Ditzy, Scatterbrained, and I don't think I'm too fond of that, to be honest. So the other day, I was at a shindig, and I'm trying to mingle, trying to get out there, talk to some people I don't know. So I see someone I know talking to someone I don't know. So I go up and I'm holding a glass of wine, and mind you, I just got this glass of wine, haven't even drank it yet. Well, I took one sip. I don't know if that counts. Maybe it does. Anyways, I had an opportunity to meet this person a previous time, right? But I wasn't there. And I felt as though they were sort of grilling me about why I wasn't at the event that I could have met them at before. I couldn't get my reasoning together, but I didn't know I was about to be interviewed, right? I'm just meeting this person, and they're diving into, I wasn't giving them good enough excuse as to why I didn't meet them prior to that moment. Not 3 sentences in, she says to me, "How many glasses of wine deep are you? How simple should I keep this conversation?" Okay. Luckily, I was saved by the bell during that conversation. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm gonna keep on chugging. I am trying to... Okay, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm trying to work on this damn painting, and I am at a point where I'm feeling like unsure about it. I want to trust the process. I just want to finish it, especially because it is a painting that I covered over another painting. I covered over a painting for this painting, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna stop spinning it around like that. I'm sorry. Old school way of. Jesus, what am I trying to say? I like my sketch better, which happens. I think my sketch flows together better, and maybe I should have invested. I think I should invest in a projector to put my sketch on what I needed to, because I just freehanded this. I didn't do a grid or anything. I just did my sketch on my iPad, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it on the canvas now. I lost the emotion that I had when I started this painting. I think that's making it harder because I don't feel that way anymore. And so it's hard getting into the mindset that was fueling the painting to begin with. So I'm not sure how to finish it. I know it's unfinished, but it's not there yet. So I'm just going to do a little piece that I know I want to do and go from there. And then we'll see how I feel after that. My plan right now is to take the speech bubble, cut letters out of a magazine, ransom note style, and I'm going to put it in here. It's going to say Scatterbrained. Okay, got it on there. I think it's situated fun, and I found this little flower and just fill up the space, but I think the way that the flower is kind of adds to the scatterbrainness, and I might go and outline this bubble and maybe outline these in markers or something. I'm not entirely sure, but this space does feel empty, so I was just gonna put an ellipses. And so I found this, and so I'm just gonna hole punch out the 3 of the colors that I want, so they can all be the same size and I can orientate them the way I want. I like it more now that I put the scatterbrained on there, and It's still missing. Like, obviously, what I have white won't stay white. This was just more of like an outline. I'm not sure why I painted like this. I haven't before, but I'll put my sketch here, and this was gonna be like a weed. This is gonna be a weed bud, but I just don't want that in this painting, to be honest. I've done it in another one, and I just don't want it in this one. So I'm thinking about like having more, maybe more cigarettes like being put out on the brain, and maybe this is like smoke coming from it. I'm not entirely sure. I am really happy with the lips and the eyes, but I did this outline where it's kind of alternating between purple and red, and clearly it's not the cleanest. I was going to go back in with this yellow oxide and kind of clean it up because I wanted it to feel like it's kind of like moving, pulsating, and I was going to continue it with different colors around the rest, but I'm just not sure. It's kind of throwing me off, and maybe it is because it's not the cleanest and or done. So far, this is my favorite part. Which is promising, you know. I'm like, new stuff I'm doing to it, I don't absolutely hate, because that happens sometimes. So let's just see where it takes me. Okay, so I've worked a little more on this. I did more to the brain and some here. I got it painted blue, but I'm still contemplating everything now. I just don't know what to do. I've strayed a little far away from my sketch, which, reminder, here. And I just don't really know where to go. I really want to do some collaging, I think, around the edge. And because I've worked so hard so far, I'm worried that I had a thought in my head that was like, oh, that seems like a cop-out. You know, you're going to collage around something. It just seems like an easy route, even though there is work that goes into it. But it's also my fucking painting, and I can do whatever I want, and I like collaging. And I feel like that's a very me thing to do. So I think I'm going to do a collage around the edge here. All the edges. Except for probably this corner. That corner. And go from there. So I'm going to go through magazines and see if I can find things. Spoiler alert, I do not do the collaging. It truly did feel like a cop-out. So I took to my iPad and I just kind of played around with the painting, sketched over on top of it, which this is super helpful if you don't know what the hell you're doing with your artwork. So I was trying to fill up the background, trying to make it feel a little bit more connected to each other, and wanted to get some more movement in there. So you can see, obviously, I went through and I did these wavy lines that kind of tied everything together. I wanted more intensity in the brain, and after all of that collaging that I did on the scatterbrained part, was not happy with it. I end up covering that up, which you'll see here shortly. And then you can see the hand was feeling empty to me as well, so I start sketching around on top of that. From here, now we know kind of where we're going. We have a better idea of where we're going. All right, so here is where the painting is at the moment, and now we're going to go in and start implementing everything that I just drew on my iPad. So first things first was this blue line that sweeps from the left side of the painting down around the bottom to the right. And then I was adding some braces to the top right mouth, and then some tears on the bottom right eyes. I'm now going in and adding the wavy lines that I have kind of connecting around the whole piece that are really just going to draw your eye around everything. This one, I definitely felt I needed to do by hand, so I whipped out my handy dandy Posca markers for this one. Now I will say that it's not as contrasty as I would have preferred, this blue against the teal that I have, but it's just the color I have. I really like it everywhere else, and in person it's not as bad, but definitely in some of the photos you know it gets a little bit lost. And then I wanted to go in and add those eyeballs in the brain. I don't know what deeper meaning it could have to it. I'm sure there is something. But, you know, that's just what I'm going with. It looks cool. So, that whole collage that I worked hard on, didn't like it after all. Even though I was like, it's my favorite part. So, here I am trying to fix it. I want to do some actual bubble lettering. I want to paint it. And of course I used E6000 glue to put this shit on. And so it left quite a bit of residue after I took these all off. And they weren't the easiest to peel off, which is promising for E6000 glue, but not, you know, not great because of I wanted to get rid of it. Even when I paint this over, in person, it was really bad, like really chunky. I feel like you can see how chunky it is. You can definitely see the outline of stuff, and I was just hoping that the lettering was going to cover it up. But I drew this out, and I wanted it to be a stencil, because I was like, no, I want to paint the letters. And so I painted over this so it would be a loose stencil, but I didn't let the Posca dry, and it smeared everywhere. Okay, mistakes were made. I tried to basically, like, I wanted to hand do the lettering, but I was going to paint it still. So I tried to, like, do the lettering, and then I was going to paint over it, but I didn't wait long enough. And for me, removing the magazine collage, it's just too textured. I just don't think it's going to look good. So I cut out this piece of paper that will fit like perfectly over that. So I think I'm going to take this teal and paint around the edge of this so it will just kind of blend in a little bit better. But that way I have a nice smooth surface and I can hand do the lettering like I want. So let's try that. So third time's the charm, let's hope, which foreshadowing it does. This works great. And I'm glad that it turned out, and I really liked it. And I feel like it just goes with the painting style a lot better than the collaging. And even though I wasted a bunch of time on the collaging, that's okay. It's just part of the trust the process, you know? So I have this, and I love how it turned out. But before I stick it down, I want to varnish it. I have this gloss varnish, and I'm going to do a sample because I am finally happy with how this looks, and I don't want to ruin it. So we're going to do a little sampy to make sure it's what I want. Okay, so I did it on a piece of Bristol, which is what this is on. I also did paint because I might do it on the rest of the painting. I always have the worst luck with varnishes. Sometimes they're sticky or they don't look how I want them to look. And I got this for a different project that ended up not working out. It's more liquidy. When I think of varnish, I think of something thicker. This is very liquidy, so I'm a little bit nervous. Smells like glue. Over that. Okay, a little bit of smearing. I waited a little bit. So, I don't like the smearing going on. I'm going to do another patch and wait longer. And hopefully it doesn't smear. But there's a little bit of smearing, and I don't like that. It kind of looks like as long as I just am doing like one swipe for the first go around, then it should work just fine. I kind of just had to go for that one. I couldn't, I just had to do it. And looks like I've avoided streakiness for the most part. Ooh, there's a hair in it. I'm going to get this hair out. But for the most part, it's curling up now. So I'm just going to let it dry and go from there. The space was feeling empty. So I wanted to go in and fill it up. I decided to do these little white flowers to fill up the space, and at first when I started going for it, I immediately was like, oh shit, here we go. I'm gonna hate it. But I actually really liked it. I think it does what I intended it to do. I did originally think that I was gonna keep it just on the yellow background part, and then I started overlapping everything, and I think it just sort of tied everything together and just really balances out the piece. Now, here's the painting. Before I completely finish it, there's three things I add from this point. I add eyelashes on the eyes, I add, I guess, tattoos on the hand, and I add spacing in the blood because it's just a little too bulbous. But I think when I add the spacing, it gives it a little more breathing room. Okay, I've officially done it. I have finished my painting. This was a crazy process. This is a decently large painting, as you can see, and it was very much trust the process kind of deal. But I'm happy with how it came out. I was unsure for a second. I was hating it for a little bit. And as it says, it was a very scatterbrained process, I might say. As you should be able to tell throughout the video, a lot of the stuff was sort of spur of the moment, or me thinking, hey, I think I'm almost done. When in reality, I was maybe 3/4, maybe like 3/5 of the way done. But I'm really happy with how it came out. And it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you like it. And I hope you liked the process. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.